Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for today's 5 things learned from the first round of Rainbow Cup South Africa. A very interesting round of rugby, victories for the Sharks and the Bulls, and I would say against the odds a reasonable performance from the Lions, but I think quite a damning performance in terms of an illustration of where the squad is, and a pretty damning performance by the Stormers because they managed to throw away what was a really good lead. And I think that the Sharks, for all they managed to come back and get the victory, I don't think that Sharks side is quite there. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But basically, these are sort of 5 things that we sort of took away from the round and stuff that we want to chat about. Before we do, please do subscribe to the channel. Smash a like on the video as well. Tomorrow is a very, very big day. The British and Irish Lions squad that will come to South Africa in July and August will be announced tomorrow at 11:45 British Standard Time, 12:45 South African Standard Time. We will be live during the announcement, so please come and hang out. We'll be giving you the team as it is announced, discussing it, trying to get everybody else's view. So if you want to come and have a bit of a discussion, jump on tomorrow. We will be live about 5 minutes before the announcement begins. You've got the captain's announcement first before the actual squad. So come hang out. Let's chat about who you think is going to be the captain and what are the sort of things we can expect. And then tomorrow we'll obviously have a reaction just after the video, just talking about going through the squad and stuff like that. And we are also going to have a panel discussion tomorrow night. Tomorrow evening we'll be live again, giving you the sort of a rundown of the squad, what we think players we missed out, and sort of how we think the Lions could be shaping up. So we've got so much coverage planned for this series. We really are going all out. So many big plans in the works. So make sure you are subscribed and smash like so you are part of that. Without any further ado, let's go look at the 5 things we learned from the Rainbow Cup South Africa. So something I mentioned, and Sean Everett was quite frank and quite honest about it, and he said that they are a performance-based side of the Sharks, and he said it wasn't a particularly good performance. Because I think if you take away those sort of 12 minutes where they just ran over the Stormers and scored 3 tries, 21 points, literally in 12 minutes, thanks to Patrick Hero, Reniel Hugo. It was a very subpar Sharks performance, particularly in the first half. And I thought that they were pretty poor at the breakdown. Their lineouts didn't function particularly well. Pheasant Barter was struggling. The scrums were alright, not too bad, but they really couldn't get their big players into the game. And I thought Siaklis was quite quiet until the second half. Sikabozanoche was quite quiet. Oxenchair was quiet. They were really sort of struggling to sort of get the small battles done, which, winning those small battles, which then give them license to start playing a little bit more sort of on the edge and sort of more sort of free-flowing rugby. And when they went back to the basics, they scored that try at Pheasant Barter, where it was literally a straight line-up, boom, down to Siaklis, who was wrapping up all Storm's players, thinking he's going to carry it up, inside ball, Pheasant Barter over. So when they sort of made it a little bit more simple, they were quite good. But I think that the Sharks side needed to almost sort of look at themselves and say, right, we actually need to earn the right to play like we want to play. We haven't quite done that just yet. So whilst I was quite impressed with the performance from the Lions in terms of, if you look at the players on the pitch and the result and the performance some of them put out, it is so blatantly obvious that if this Lions side wants to compete with the other 4 sides, they need investment. They need squad investment. They need players. It's quite simple. You've got the Bulls who are still looking to sign players. They're now being linked to Harold Forster overseas. The Bulls are trying to, they've got such a good squad already, and they're always trying to see how can we improve it, how can we build depth, how can we make sure that if 5 players get injured, we've still got a side that can go all the way. The Lions, you've taken out Alton Yankees, there's no Willem Alberts, there's no Len Massey, Dylan Smith has left, Tian Swanepoel went off injured, and you suddenly think there's just no depth. There's no depth, and that's a big problem. And I think that until the Lions do get some serious investment and start putting their money where their mouth is, we need players. Bringing back Willem Alberts, Yanni du Plessis, it's not enough. You've got to go out and bring some big players in the mark. If you go and sign somebody like a Bongi Mbonambi, that's ticking a big position that needs some work. Try and go after a young Lock. There's been a couple of issues with Lock at the Lions. We need a couple of big signings. See if we can try and bring players back. If you put Franco Mossa back into that side, that's a huge signing. So the Lions need to go look overseas, look in the country, and they've got to bring in some big players, because at the moment that side is not going to be able to compete in the Rainbow Cup or in the Pro 16 or whatever, because there's just not enough depth and not enough quality in that squad. I think something which is sort of plaguing the Stormers for quite a while now is their inability to string together an 18-minute performance. And I think back to games like when they had to come back from behind to beat the Pumas, and they've often come in from behind and sort of given a right go towards the end. This Stormers side on paper should be playing really good rugby. Unfortunately, it looks like they're going to lose Peace Pretoria. They've now lost Kate Bollitter for the rest of the season, more likely for the rest of the season. So they have lost a couple of players, but you still think it's so star-studded that if they could just put together that from minute 1, from minute 80, do the basics, do everything right, they would be able to get the result. But that was their problem, is they put together a really good 40-minute performance, were on top, conceded a try right on the brink of half-time, which allowed the Sharks sort of a bit of confidence, and the Sharks just stormed past them in a 12-minute period. You cannot afford to have these sort of periods. I think that's probably the biggest reason for me that is preventing Stormers from going at that next level, is that inability to put together an 80-minute performance. That, they are as good from the first minute to the last minute, and they dominate throughout the clash. And I think that if they managed to do that, they probably would have beaten the Sharks. They were in such a good position, to beat the Sharks before they then let the Sharks score 21 unanswered points. You cannot afford that to happen. You do that, you're never going to win games. So I think that's probably a big thing. I think they've got the players. There's a couple of question marks around the coaches, but I think they've got the players to be really, really good. They just need to start working on that complete performance. And I think that would be a big, big difference. Right, so remember the name. And now that cover was brilliant on Saturday for the Stormers. An absolute menace at the breakdowns. The air to see Khaleesi's throw really did stand up. And I don't really want to compare them, because I think they're very different players, because Clubber is a very natural fetcher, but he was having an absolute field day at the breakdown, where the Sharks actually struggle. And I think that, the problem is not having Dylan Richardson, is that when you don't have a fetcher at number 6, and your hooker as well is not really operating as a fetcher, they really struggled at breakdown. They needed somebody to hit those breakdowns and sort of try and slow down for the Stormers and try and win a few others. You think of Marco Fitzgerald, and you think the job that Clubber did. Even Scurry and Tabeni had a very good performance at the breakdown, and that's where the Sharks were struggling, as they weren't winning those breakdown battles. So I think that Clubber in particular, I was very impressed. He looked very physical. Really enjoyed carrying the ball up. Was up for the clash. You could see playing with a smile on his face. Was really pumped for the game, and I was very impressed. And I think that, not now, but I think that we're going to see in a couple of years' time, if he can continue playing and can stay fit, because he's had a couple of injury issues, he is definitely a Bok in the making. So it's an interesting concept, the idea of knowing how to lose, knowing how to win. But I think what the Bulls have got is that they've got so much confidence at the moment. They've got so much, they've been hyped up, and yet at the moment they are still delivering on that hype, because at the end of the day, sport is a result-driven concept. You cannot, if you win games, the performances come second at the end of the day. It's all about results. And this Bull side have got this knack of, even when they rotate players, even if they're having a bad day, even if they're not playing particularly well or dominating the side, they get results. That's why I'm saying they do not know how to lose, because within them, they walk into that field thinking we are going to win this match. There was not a lot of panic. I think that's where Moya Stain played such a big role when he came off the bench and sort of said, no, it's fine, we've got this. I know that we're only 1 point ahead, but we can get there. And, 3 disallowed tries would have been a whole different story. But I think that what happens now is that Bulls have got this winning mentality, this winning culture, and it's so difficult to disrupt that. And the same thing happened with the Lions. When the Lions suddenly started winning, went on that run, that's why they got to those 3 Super Rugby finals, because they built this culture of winning and knowing that we just don't lose. That's not what we do. We walk on the field, we play rugby, and at 80 minutes, we go, thank you very much, that's another victory. And it becomes a habit. Winning is a habit. Losing is a habit as well. And Bulls have just got this winning habit at the moment. And I thought that it was a strong side, probably stronger than the Lions of paper for me. But the Lions played pretty well. I mean, not very well. I thought I was pretty impressed with certain individual players. And the Bulls maybe looked quite ordinary at times, and yet they still managed to get together, pull themselves together, get the victory, get the points on the board. That's the main thing. And it's a very dangerous thing when a side is very used to winning and they've got a habit of winning. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that up and how much that can carry them through bad performances, carry them through tough times. Let me know what you thought of the weekend in the comments down below. Smash a like on the video. Do subscribe. I'll see everybody tomorrow for the British and Irish Lions announcement. So much excitement as we sort of build towards the tour that's kicking off in less than 2 months' time. So make sure you are part of the hype here on Forever Sports. My name is Steven. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll chat to you soon.